Welcome to SomewhatNerdy Radio. We are your hosts. I am Starf Chris.
I'm Critter.
And this is issue 9?
Yes.
Yes. Possibly.
No, it is.
This is our double feature podcast where each of us give the other nerd a movie to watch that we've seen or we haven't seen or we remember randomly from childhood.
We just pick a random movie that we think the other person should see, and we kind of want to see for whatever reason. It could be like, oh, this looks really good. This looks stupid as shit.
Torture the other person.
Yes, but you have to torture yourself because you have to watch it too.
Yeah, you have to watch it too. So
I mean, it's a love-hate thing.
Before we get into it, go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. However you're listening to this podcast right now, how you're hearing my voice right now, pause it for like 2 seconds, and then go leave us a review. Did you go do that while you paused? Okay, thank you. 5 stars, thumbs up.
You should have said 5 stars before you had him pause.
Oh, yeah. Wait, pause again. And then go do 5 stars and write us something nice in the comments. Or just tell us we suck in the comments. It's cool. Whatever. Did you go do that? Good. Go do that. Critter, what movie are we doing tonight for your double feature?
Oh, for this time, I picked an absolute one of the most 80s movies you will ever see. 80s action movies you'll ever see. And it's the 1985 action gem American Ninja.
For 2,000 years, the sacred art of the ninja has been guarded in the East.
Remember the day I found you.
Now, it has come to the West.
Remember what is hidden deep in your mind.
He is the only soldier.
Date of birth unknown.
The only American.
Who is he?
Who is capable of defeating the secret Black Star Army. The mission to hijack a U.S. military arsenal.
Your destiny, my son, awaits you.
The adventure. The confrontation. The code.
I will honor the code, Father.
The invasion. The final hour. The deadliest art of the Orient is now in the hands of an American. American Ninja.
So, this was what you would expect a martial arts movie to be. You have a random, just loner guy in the army that, you know, no one knows him. But he's like an ultimate badass for some reason, but no one knows it yet. The plot of this is that he's stationed in the Philippines and they're on a routine convoy, and it gets raided by people trying to steal whatever in the convoy. And then he stops it, and then all of a sudden ninjas attack him because the ninjas are apparently helping the people rob the convoy. And they were the muscle for if things got out of hand. He fights off the ninjas. The ninjas are like, oh, that guy has skill. Saves the colonel's daughter from the people robbing the convoy. Gets her back to the base. He gets in trouble for all the
John Wayning it.
Yeah, and all the other people died, and then it pissed off a lot of the people on the base. And the big martial arts head honcho guy calls him out to a fight.
Action Jackson.
Yeah, Curtis Jackson, man. Now let me tell you that he may have been the best part of the movie, but moving on. So he challenges him to a fight. And the American Ninja guy Joe is his name.
Joe Armstrong
just destroys him. And from there, Curtis is like, oh man, you're a good dude. You know what? You're okay with me. And he's like, oh, we should fight together, be bros.
They literally become best friends from here.
Yep. And from then on, there's some corruption in the military. That the convoys were an inside job with the military, where they're selling all of this stuff stolen to this private guy, selling it to other countries to build up other armies for weapons and this and that. They try to set up Joe to get killed by them. They fail and fail and fail. So then they send their top ninja after him. he fails and he's disgraced and wants to fight him head on. And there's the showdown at the end.
That's about as loose as a plot that you ever need for an 80s action movie. That I was actually surprised when I read up on this that this was released in theaters.
Yeah.
I thought it was in the age of like straight to VHS ones. I think some of the sequels were straight to VHS. This one was released in the theaters. There are so many scenes that are in this movie that are obviously like in a bunch of other action movies in the 80s that are just executed so well in this movie. There's more things I like about this movie than I dislike about this movie.
I rewatch. It's bad.
Yeah, it's not a great movie.
But when you watch it, you're kind of like, oh, okay.
Okay.
It's basically a less good Commando.
It's 100%. And surprisingly, the guy acts worse than Arnold Schwarzenegger did in Commando. He has this weird voice, and it could be was the dub of this the sound quality of the movie, but his voice doesn't fit his body.
It's soft and high.
Yeah, it sounds like Critter the entire time.
Damn.
Walked right into it.
Damn.
You know, I told my wife I was going to say that joke on the podcast. She's like, you better not.
What a jerk.
But anyway, he's like this badass martial arts guy, and there's a reason why he spends most of the movies, like 60% of the movie, without saying a word.
Well, actually, that was the intention of the movie.
Yeah.
Because when they were casting this character, the director wanted somebody that was James Dean-like. And he wanted a rebel without a cause. They wanted a character that's like just kind of a badass, you know, but never talks that much. And that's what they were going for. And Michael Dudikoff kind of looks like him.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy. I'm surprised we didn't... I know I've seen him in other things.
He was in The
80s.
Bachelor with Tom Hanks.
He sure the fuck was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yup.
What else has the guy played in?
I don't know. American Ninja 2, American Ninja 4.
3. I'm literally looking at his IMDb right now, and the dude's played in straight to VHS action movies his entire life. Look, I mean, I don't even know what this is. Quicksand, Gale Force, Ablaze, Fugitive Mind, The Silencer, In Her Defense, The Bounty Hunter, Part 2 and 1.
He was in the 2015 movie, Navy SEALs vs. Zombies.
So anyway, look, the movie, it is what it is. It's an 80s action movie. I saw this movie, I know, in the late 80s, early 90s. I don't think I've seen the sequels, but this made me...
I've seen them all.
Yeah, you've seen them all?
Oh, yeah.
This movie made me want to go watch all of them. Like, I was more into this movie than I was expecting to be, because I watched the trailer after you sent me the movie.
Oh,
and
it definitely had an 80s trailer.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
awesome.
I don't think you remember how
over the top 80s
stupid
trailers it is.
There he is, one man army.
You already
Joe
heard the
Armstrong.
trailer because we played it probably right before we started talking right now. But it's 80s as fuck. It's awesome. The movie, there was a lot of personnel in this movie. There's a lot of sets in this movie. There's a lot of tanks and vehicles and
Explosions.
ninjas and explosions. And what was the budget to this movie?
It was $1 million in 1985.
Somewhat mind-blowing. I was thinking it was like $500,000, especially in the 80s. They could have stretched this off and not paid all the foreigners anything to be in the movie. Especially there is literally one whole entire scene where the ninjas are at their ninja training camp, and there are dudes doing stuff in the background that is legit dangerous. They're walking on like ladders that are like 100 feet up in the air with no net underneath it, and you can see the guys are scared. They're slowly they're not like fast ninja walking across it. They're like, if I fall, they're not going to pay me type stuff. So
it's interesting how you say that. So Michael Dudikoff's stuntman, you know the scene where he jumped over the thing on the motorcycle?
he got hurt, huh?
Yeah, the guy. I don't know if he even lived.
Yeah,
like it was bad.
Yeah, whenever
he hit the glass, and you can see it in the movie.
His face entirely. So there's this scene where he jumps over the fence that's around the military base, and whenever he lands, he does the full, like, you know, those really bad videos where you watch where you're like, oh, that dude definitely got hurt because his chest goes directly into the gas tank, and then his face hits the glass. And I'm like, that dude's not okay. And I watched this with my wife, and she's like, nah, he's probably fine. I was like, you ain't walking away from that, guaranteed.
I don't remember. I don't know if he got really hurt. I don't know if he died from those injuries or not, but he was hurt pretty bad. And then the next scene, he just looks back, is just like, all right, made it. I'm like, that guy died, man.
Hopefully that stuntman was good, because he did most of the stunts for the movie. Most of the flipping around, jumping off of things, every time the Armstrong guy.
Yeah, because he apparently didn't know any martial arts when he
None.
got the role.
And you can almost tell because he's
very
not
wooden.
Fast.
Yeah,
when he's doing things.
And that had to have been tough for, like, because the guy that played Curtis Jackson,
Action Jackson,
he was a martial artist, and I imagine he had to slow it down a lot so he could parry the moves from him.
And he is the best part of the movie.
Yeah, he by far is.
Yeah,
he definitely
Jackson is the best part of the movie.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't have a bigger career as an action star.
Yeah, for sure. Because I looked at him and I'm like, man, I know I've seen that guy somewhere else, and then I was like, oh no, I remember him from this movie. And he has such a great look, size and everything like that, and he's not a bad actor. I mean, he's not a bad actor for an 80s action movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's right up there with all of the 80s action movie stars.
So I would have loved to seen a lot more of him. I think he's played in a lot of other stuff, but it's all just like straight to VHS. And you
can hear how dated this is. The fact that we're saying it's straight to VHS and not DVD or Blu-ray or
so straight
streaming.
to VHS scene was like when this is for all you youngins out there. Back when Blockbuster, and way even before Blockbuster, Mom and Pop and stuff like that, there was movies that were made directly to VHS. They were sold to video rental places, and that's how they made all their money. And it was a huge market. So if you spent $1 million on a movie, you would make, a shit ton more than that for just a straight to VHS. This one was released in theaters, and it made
over $10 million in the box office.
So it wasn't a smash hit, but it made its money back.
Yeah, I would say it's a smash hit for $1 million budget for an 80s action movie. Yeah.
For an 80s action movie that I never have talked to another human being that's ever talked anything about this movie.
You're welcome.
I'm going to say thank you. This is it's not the best movie that you put on one of our double features.
Well, no. I mean,
this movie may go in rotation for me. I liked it a lot. So I don't know why. There are particular scenes on this that just makes me think and miss these type of movies.
Oh yeah. I mean, you grew up with it. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, mostly because you got spoiled with the good shit right away. Predator, RoboCop, Terminator,
Commando,
and then you're like, I need more. You're trying to get a fix, and you'll watch literally anything, and this is where these come in.
And I actually think I saw this on TV, on like Sunday morning, where they would show the action movies. I want to say it was like one of those type things, and I may have seen this in the movie rental place because it has an awesome movie poster.
Mm-hmm.
So the original movie poster is an American flag, obviously, and then it's the Armstrong character, the main character, fighting a ninja all dressed in black with swords.
Yeah. And
How would you not want this?
He does dress up in a ninja getup.
So that's exactly the point of the movie where I was like, I know for a fact I've seen this movie because I remember that.
Yeah.
A full ninja outfit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, he had amnesia.
Yeah,
he forgot his childhood.
And he randomly runs into his dad in this fucking place.
Not his dad, the guy that raised him.
Yes, the guy that raised him.
Classic.
He's in Vietnam. He joined the military that he was forced to do.
He's in the Philippines.
Yeah, okay, the Philippines. And they actually talk about Nam in the movie. And then he randomly runs into his dad, which is a ninjutsu master.
Yes.
Which is illegal to teach a foreigner, punishable by death.
Well, and also, they do this awesome little teaching them apparently they have magic powers.
Yeah.
And he was able to turn... So this awesome ninja master turns himself freaking invisible and then dies immediately. It's like, dude, you're invisible. How do you have that happen?
Actually, that's one of my problems with the movie. They don't even introduce that character enough for you to give a fuck that he died. Like, I know they were trying to do it with like, oh, his dad just died. He was on screen for a total of 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the main bad guy ninja 100% throws a Hadouken at the end of this fucking movie.
Oh, when he has the laser
thing?
Yes,
he shoots bullets out of this magical thing that wasn't there before in the scene before. He shoots a laser that makes something explode, and he shoots a fucking Hadouken. Full-blown Hadouken. Like, ugh! It was awesome. So all of our movies, we always give it a 1 out of 11 on the scale of awesomeness. 11 obviously being the best movie you've ever seen. Blade Runner. And then number 1 being Meet the Feebles.
Ooh, I would give this a 6.4.
That's high.
Well, it's the rewatchability.
Yeah,
and
the
nostalgia.
rewatchability
I
is
can
good.
tell you this: I watched it so much as a kid, and when I watched it as an adult, I was like, "This is bad," but I wasn't like Meet the Feebles, like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, you know what it made me want to do? Watch 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm 100%
That's why it ranks
watching
so
all
high.
of them. Yeah.
So
I wanted to watch all of them before we did this podcast because I don't know if we're ever going to like retouch Ninja Warrior again, American Ninja again. But I kind of want to do some of the other movies.
I'm telling you, the reason why it's ranked so high with me is because it brought back a lot of good memories, and then I instantly wanted to watch the next freaking 4.
I'm not giving it way lower than you. I'm giving it a 5. It's a very middle of the road. It is 100% probably going to be on rotation.
I was in a big ninja kick after seeing this movie.
Yeah, I was too. I went and watched some samurai movies.
My
after
mom
this.
had like a black belt, like one of those tube belts. I don't know.
Nice.
And let me tell you, I stole it and made a ninja mask from it, and like I had just dressed up as a ninja a lot. So, I mean, it even beat out Ninja Turtles at the time. No, at the time, what I was dressing like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
In my pretend days.
In your pretend days. So last year.
Yeah, whatever.
COVID, sitting around the house by yourself.
They're called pajamas now.
So anyway, great movie. I highly recommend it. This movie's a little bit harder to find too. It's not on streaming services. It may be on Amazon.
I think it was on Prime
Yeah.
at one point. I don't think it's as hard as you think.
But it's good. It's good. You should 100% watch this movie.
It's available on Roku, Tubi, and Pluto TV.
Actually, that all makes sense. Yeah, no, those are kind of where movies go to die on some of the streaming services. But those are all really good streaming services. They always have just very obscure, bad action and sci-fi movies.
Plex does too.
Yeah, on horror and stuff like that. There you go. Go watch those movies. I don't know if I can say the same thing about the next movie we're about to talk about.
Yes, Chris. Why don't you tell us about the movie that you selected for this watch?
So my pick was Rocket. And you know what? I'm not even gonna say this wasn't my pick. This was from a listener on Instagram that sent this movie in.
Dude,
I'm really glad that somebody sent in this movie.
When you sent this to me, I was like, "Oh, this has Chris written all
yeah,
over it."
It's very me. It's very me. It's Rock and Roll Nightmare from 1987.
Here's your new home for the next 5 weeks.
Back to nature, huh? No hot tubs, no dynasty.
Hey, no one's lived here for 10 years?
Relax. Would I pick a loser?
What are we supposed to do here?
Rehearse, lame brain.
Prepare to die.
I knew if I pissed you off long enough, you'd make a personal appearance.
Let's tune our weapons.
I'm going to open up, but before we say anything, I also enjoyed this movie. It has redeeming qualities. So Rock and Roll Nightmare is about, and I'm going to save this, and if you've been listening to the podcast, I want you to just think about other movies that we've reviewed on this podcast while I'm saying a synopsis, the plot to this movie. If this is about a band in the 80s, goes and rents an old house that a bunch of people got murdered in before.
And the most amazing 80s van.
Yo, yeah, the van is so fucking awesome, actually. I was telling my wife, is like, can I buy one of those? the whole family would fit in it, and it's worth it to me. So anyway, so they
fit too many people. Like I was like, there's no way all those
no,
people fit in that van.
it was definitely a clown car. So they rent this house in the middle of nowhere. There's a recording studio built in the barn outside. While they're kind of practicing the band, these little dick creatures, I'm not even joking, they're legit in the shape of penises. Some of them have
I thought
hair.
it was a penis until it turns out you see shoulders on it later.
I thought those are the balls.
I thought so too, but it was shoulders.
It's shoulders. And then they all slowly get killed by these dick creatures, and then these creatures are also able to turn into the killed members of the band. So you never know who is dead and who is alive in this movie. And they slowly kill the entire band until the main character, Thor, and we'll get into that in a little bit, is the last one there. And we're gonna get to the ending later because I don't want. We're gonna do spoiler warnings before we talk about the ending of this movie because it is worth a spoiler warning. So that's the plot of the movie.
Yeah, I did not see it coming.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming at all. So anyway, man, this is so when it's so rare for a weird 80s movie, especially a rock and roll horror movie that goes underneath the radar for me. So Trick or Treat, that we reviewed last
that was actually
chapter.
okay though.
It's not a bad. I love that movie. But that movie was I didn't know about that movie until like 5 years ago. Odd for a movie to fly under the radar for me in this genre and this bad.
Well, I mean, like, it's the lowest budget I think I've seen of a movie.
Yeah, so this budget was actually $52,000.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does. It 100%
It's like
does.
$20 today.
Yeah, it's like
it's the opposite of inflation. It's like, no, man, I mean, I could do this.
We could have done
shoot
this in a
on
weekend.
iPhone.
Yeah. It probably would have looked better. And actually, I'm not even going to say that. It did not look bad. I mean, the movie
honestly, like the
cinematography and stuff and all that.
The couple times they did the rock songs, when they were recording, which is not how you record a song. You don't just play and that's how you record. Like, you don't play a concert and you record it.
You don't wear full rock star get-ups with sunglasses.
But the songs were tight.
Yeah, the songs were not bad. And you know why the songs were pretty good? So Thor, the main character, which was also the writer, the producer, I'm super surprised he didn't fucking direct this. He is a metal guy. It was in a band named Thor in the 80s. And I remember him because he had like this weird 80s and 90s thing where he played in the band Thor. He was a bodybuilder. He was Mr. America. He was Mr. Canadian. And he was the first Canadian guy to ever do that. He was like in that same era. I think right after Arnold was Mr. Universe. Mm-hmm. Big dude. He almost looks like a wrestler. So I always remember him. That dude's still touring.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, he's got to pay the bill something because it wasn't residuals from this movie.
No, it wasn't. You say that. A lot of research I've done. This movie's had a resurgence over the past few years. They released a special edition. So this movie, it's hard to find online, but there is a fan base built around this movie.
Oh, I'm sure.
People like to be fucking tortured. I don't know. There are so many inconsistencies in the storyline in this movie.
It just, none of it made sense.
This movie does not make sense.
None.
Nobody sat down and put everything together and goes,
continuity.
No,
You're like,
no,
what?
no, there's none of that.
Don't make up words, dude. That's what happened.
So what happens is, like, somebody gets killed. Like, let's say a random band member. And all of them are annoying, too. Pretty much everybody in this movie, other than the main character that wrote the fucking movie, is annoying. Other than maybe, like, the married couple or something like that.
No, they were annoying.
Yeah, they're kind of annoying.
Because they got a little huffy, like, we're married.
Yeah, we're married. We get the biggest room. Because they had to separate the room and then everybody else. And we're going to say something later that's going to make everything that we're saying fucking pointless. So everybody's arguing about what rooms they're going to sleep in.
And everyone's like trying to figure out.
There's a guy with a fake Australian accent. That's like, I'm almost tempted to look up if he was really Australian.
No, because he lost it in the
movie. He lost
movie.
it, yeah, he did. Because he gets killed and the creature takes over, apparently. Takes over them and they act like them.
You should just say spoiler now.
Okay, spoiler from this point on. None of these fucking characters exist. It's not real. The only character that actually exists in these movies are the dick creature, Lucifer, and Thor, the main character.
Well, no. Then there's the four groupies, which they just don't care. They killed, and then he was like, none of these people existed except those 4.
There were 4 groupies that showed up, which talks to one of the dick creatures that turned into their manager, apparently. They don't get killed on screen now, right?
Mm-mm.
Like, they're just...
He's like, show me them boobies, and then
like,
and then they kind of cut away.
to something else, which I only thought there was one dick creature until the end of the movie. And then I'm like, how is this dick creature? I'm going to continue to say dick creature.
Yeah, and what's weird is they all had gremlin style, like, they all were different.
Yeah.
And then one was smoking a cigarette.
Like a goatee. One had like black hair. One had gray hair. You don't see any of these things in the movie until the end of the movie, which also completely negates. They also turn into these like weird demon hand things sometimes. And then at one other point, it's a skeleton that has a hand coming out of its mouth. The movie doesn't make any sense. Everything I'm saying is not going to make any sense.
Why don't you get into the real reveal here?
So Thor is getting confronted by the demons.
Beelzebub.
Yes, the actual Lucifer. And he's surrounded by all the dick creatures. He's like, we killed all your friends. And Thor's like, no, you didn't. And he's like, yes, we did. Everybody is
like,
dead.
how are you not freaking out about this? He
and
goes,
he's
hey, man,
just super calm, drinking his Coke that he was very clear on going, I gotta drink a Coke. And
it was Coke. Coke was all over that movie.
But they couldn't have sponsored it. The movie only cost $50,000.
No, this was definitely like pre.
They were trying to get a sponsorship with Coke, and then they didn't, but they just left that fucking part in.
No, there were several parts with Coca-Cola.
Yeah, Coke was all over the place. Everybody was drinking Coke. I was surprised they didn't get sued by Coke after this movie came out, and somebody at Coke was like, what the fuck did they just do? So anyway, Thor is sitting there talking to the devil and be like, no, it's fine. None of those people exist. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, they were a figment of my imagination to track you into this house so we can fight Angel, because I'm the Archangel Triton? No, that's the name of the band. Who cares? He's an archangel. His job is to go fucking kill demons. Which him and this devil person has fought before. No, they fought since the history of time. That's the spoiler at the end, which completely took me by surprise. And I legit stopped the movie and started researching. I was like, was this some kind of weird church movie release thing?
It felt like propaganda.
Yeah, it really did. And whatever, and that's fine. But there's boobs throughout the entire movie.
Oh, yeah, boobs.
It's
there's cursing.
There's cursing in it, so it's not. It's not. But he's an archangel. And then they have one of the legit worst fight scenes I have ever seen in a movie, maybe ever.
Yeah, it was pretty bad when he was throwing like demon ninja stars at him.
Yeah. You're losing ninja stars very usefully. They look like Starro from DC Universe.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. He was getting, those were getting thrown at him, and he was catching them
and putting them to his body.
And he was sticking them to his body because what else are you gonna do? Because there's no special effects that you can do. And then he was slowly trying to pull them off his body, but only using his, like how you would like rip your own arm off, like, oh, I'm gonna slowly rip it off. That's what was happening whenever he was fighting the devil. And then he's pouncing around in what do they call that? Chainmail underwear.
Yeah, just underoos. Yeah,
which couldn't have. They looked super uncomfortable. Well, had this weird stance only because I think he was trying not to smash his nuts.
I think he picked it.
Oh no, he picked. You know why I know he picked this? Because that's what the dude wears on stage. So Thor also does strongman acts, or he did this in the 80s and 90s. So while they would play music, he would bend like metal bars and like bite and rip telephone books on stage. So he did a strongman act in the middle of his concerts. That tells you a lot about it.
He did a lot of flexing in front of the devil.
Yeah, that's mostly what he did. He's like, and this is very, I'm doing a very visual thing on a podcast.
Yeah, it's very weird for me right now.
But that's the movie. I'm in knowing the amount of people that I know that like bad movies and stuff like that, and I watch bad movies all the time, on purpose, obviously. I'm so surprised that I've never seen this movie or heard of it. Even knowing who Thor was, and I've been knowing who Thor was forever. I remember him from the 80s and 90s and this weird shit. He's played in a few other like movies, and he's kind of been in some other movies. I'm so kind of pissed off at myself that I've never watched this movie.
Okay.
The music was good.
Yeah, the music was good. So all that being said, how would you rate this movie?
You're gonna be mad.
Probably.
5.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. I mean,
It's higher than American Ninja. I think I'll watch American Ninja a lot more than I'll watch this movie.
Well, this does seem more like you, but I mean,
It
like,
is.
you know my feelings on 80s horror.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, to me, this was just...
This is borderline not even 80s horror.
Yeah, this was... I was like, man, like, stuff from the 30s had better special effects.
Yeah, even... We kind of glossed over it, but the devil thing was like it wasn't even a dude in a suit. I swear to God, it may have been paper mache, and it only just moved its hands off screen because there was probably poles connected to each arm,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of what he did. And he kind of looked like an ant.
Yes.
Like an ant, but it wasn't a person and not in a suit. It was just kind of an animatronic there was probably 5 people controlling it.
Yeah. I was going to give it a 3.2.
Oh man, are you fucking joking me?
No.
That's super low. That's probably one of other than Feebles.
Well, Feebles is 1.
Yeah, Feebles is 1.
And that would be...
That's the lowest movie you ever gave on this podcast.
No, it's Feebles.
No, other than Feebles. Feebles doesn't count.
No, I think Uninvited... I mean, I don't think we were rating them back in the day.
We weren't.
Because, like...
Uninvited was the cat movie?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's pretty fucking...
was it Uninvited?
Uninvited was the cat movie.
Yeah, that one was... It made no fucking sense.
Yeah, that one's pretty fucking... That's way worse than this movie.
Yeah, and I would rate that one lower than this. And that one...
I'm not surprised,
That
by the
one
way.
had people I recognized.
Yeah, I
in
know.
it.
It actually had actors that are, somewhat famous and stuff. God bless them. But anyway, I love this movie. You should not go find this movie because it's... I don't even know where you find this movie.
Look, I do think people need to watch this stuff
It
so they
does.
can get an opinion of them, for themselves to say like, hey, this is great, this is bad, whatever. Point is like you should at least watch part of it so you can be like, what the fuck? Because it's weird.
I think you might be able to watch this on YouTube too. Go find this movie. Go watch it. Go watch American Ninja. Also, I mean that is.
And once
it's a
you
way better
realize
movie.
there's 5 of them or 4 of them,
Four
you're
of
going to
them,
be
yeah.
like, what? I'm going to watch the rest.
So yeah, those have been our movies for our double feature. If by the way, thank you again for the listener that sent in. I forgot the name of the movie. Rock and Roll Nightmare to us. Really super appreciate
Honestly,
it.
I kind of hope that based on our past viewings, people can recommend some more stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of times we kind of we go on what the poster looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we ended up on Video Dead, and that that would be lower too.
Oh, Video Dead is definitely lower.
Yeah, that'd be lower.
You gave that a rating. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, but that was before I think I'm gonna be like a little bit more.
Actually, I already on the new website that we're still fucking working on. There's a review section that has all our rankings on it.
Yeah, because I definitely would review that one lower. I would.
So maybe on that website we'll put what we said on the podcast and our rethought process of ranking on it. So anyway, go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you've had any movies that you want to maybe get us to watch or anything, you can send us a message on Instagram, Twitter, or our Facebook page, pretty much anything like that. Go follow us on all those things. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, the most important thing you can do is leave this podcast a review on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. We have a SoundCloud account you can go listen to us. All in those places, pretty much anywhere you can get a podcast. Listen to a podcast at, go do that. And that's it. The next podcast we're doing is...
The next one we're doing is our favorite time of year is coming up. It's Halloween, so we have one more show before that. We're going to do, in no particular order, a kind of preamble to Halloween, our Halloween list.
And like obviously, like you just said, our Halloween is coming up, so we have the 13 Nights of Halloween again.
Part 6.
It's our favorite podcast that we do every year. When we weren't doing podcasts, we still made sure we did this podcast. It is literally our most downloaded podcast every single year, which is kind of weird. I don't know if some people only listen to our Halloween episode, or just people just type in Halloween onto the search engine and just find our podcast and listen to it. But if you're doing that, download the podcast. Share it around. We're back now, so
yeah.
You don't have to listen once a year anymore.
And we're doing a lot more lists this time.
A lot more lists. People like the list. It's our most downloaded podcast every single time.
I'll be honest, I like making lists.
I think we're both pretty good at making lists. Once I got more into making lists with you, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with my list for now on. So Critter's still good. Critter also made this upcoming 13 Nights of Halloween. I'm legit proud of them.
And well, no, you had your input. You had your one movie input.
One movie. Every time, and you can always tell which one my movie is.
This one you won't be able to tell.
Maybe. So anyway, we have been your hosts. I am Snarf Chris.
I'm Critter.
And good journey, nerds.
Good journey, nerds.